Hi everyone, this is just a reflection on our first POGIL assignment, the POGIL that was dealing with errors. We did this on August 26th. This is the first of these reflections, so I'm going to do these after every POGIL assignment where I will sort of try and summarize the take-home message and bring up any important points that may help you prepare for the next POGIL assignment. All right, so what we took home from those POGIL assignments, we looked at a bunch of different data sets and identified basically 3 types of error that was present in data. And if you remember, we said that there was no way to eliminate error completely. Every piece of data has some sort of error associated with it. So these 3 types we identified were blunder, which happened to one piece of data in a set; random, which sort of affected all pieces of data but in sort of random directions; and then systematic, which affected all pieces of data but all in a similar direction. And if you remember, blunder could be corrected by removing outliers, and we'll learn how to do that with the Grubbs test. Random, there's nothing you can do about it. You just try to improve your technique to minimize the random error. And systematic is something that one technique that uses some sort of calibration technique, and we're going to learn about both those, the Grubbs test and also some different calibration techniques later in the class. And I just want to really highlight that this is what we're talking about is chapters 3.1 to 3.3 in Harris. So just to sort of go through a problem that might illustrate something from this POGIL assignment that you hopefully learned. So here's a question which says, all right, so we have 3 targets here, which you can imagine if the true value that you're trying to answer is represented in the center of the target, that each one of these black dots represents a measurement, right? And each one of these black dots has some sort of error associated with it. And so the question here is, what kinds of error are illustrated in each picture? And so what you'll see is the things that will jump out to you immediately are the blunder. That's usually pretty obvious because as you see some randomly distributed measurements here, and one which is sitting all by itself, right? And so we refer to this as a blunder. All right. So that one's pretty easy to see. The next one you might want to look for is a systematic error, and if you see that, it's going to affect all pieces of data all in the same way. And you'll see that these data are sort of randomly distributed at one point that is sort of away from the target, right, away from the true value. And so we would say that this represents a systematic error because it's affecting all data in a similar direction. Oops, systematic. Sorry, that's not my finest writing, but I will. As I said, I'm trying to get better at this. But you can see that essentially what happens with systematic, you really don't affect the standard deviation of the data, but what you are seeing is a change in the mean, right? So you're affecting your accuracy, but not your precision. And then this last one, that's sort of by process of elimination, that's how this last is random. So you can see the dots are more or less centered around the center here. If you sort of took the average value of each of these, it would probably be somewhere close to the center. But again, the data is sort of randomly distributed around, so that would be called random error. So hopefully that is something that makes sense to you guys, and hopefully something you took home from that POGIL assignment. So before next class on Wednesday, we're going to be we're going to be doing another POGIL. In this case, we're going to be talking about the Gaussian distribution, which deals with sort of this random error that we were talking about in the shapes of populations of data. This comes from chapter 4, right, in Harris, section 4.1 and 4.2, so please read those before Wednesday. And for lab, make sure you read the KHP lab handout. That's our first lab. There's going to be, the only way you can get that is by submitting your safety quiz, so if you're not able to find that, make sure you submit your safety quiz and you'll be able to get it. I also uploaded some laboratory notebook examples online. I thought you would like to see them. So we're going to have an example of a good lab notebook, a sort of a bad lab notebook, and then a section from a manual that gives some advice on keeping lab notebooks, which I find pretty useful. And then so as we talked about in class, there was a problem. My previous video had actually been set on private, so that's open now, so you can watch the video on units, especially units in analytical chemistry. It should be working now. And then before Wednesday, actually later today, I'm going to put up a video on propagation of error, and that's something that basically will finish up chapter 3 for us in Harris. So make sure you watch that. And let me know if you have any questions about it. I think I'm going to try and get some practice problems posted before Wednesday, so you can sort of run through them and see if there's anything that is that's unclear to you. And so make sure if you haven't, almost all of you have done the About Me assignment, but if you could do that and fill that out so I can get to know you all a little bit better. And make sure before Tuesday you do the safety agreement. Safety agreement is you won't be allowed into the lab on Tuesday unless you filled that and submitted that, so please do that. And the safety quiz. And then finally, for the POGIL assignment, the analyst report, we have there'll be a link to that in the same page that this video is posted at. So that'll see you all in class on Tuesday.